what we've been hearing on the news nonstop the past couple years. Congress approves this many $billions of aid to Israel. What the hell? Why is this happening?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out too. I was at UCLA in October 2023. I was working for the vice chancellor's office, and I was a student put on like academic warning for asking these questions. And so to see our community still continue to push, we're going to our third year of watching this horrific genocide funded by US tax dollars, and we're still demanding answers to that. So I feel like that's one of the number one reasons I'm running, because I started to look at how complicit our current Congress member is in taking funding from particularly AIPAC. You know, the pro-Israel lobby group is his number one donor. So I just think it's really an effort to silence us too, and to just like try to not pay attention to what's going on. But we are wondering, you know, why there's always money for war. And I think the numbers are horrific. It's actually like my brain can't wrap itself around the fact that we since 1985 have sent, you know, $20 billion a year to Israel, a third of which was for military expenses, particularly, but to also provide them, you know, universal health care and affordable housing and subsidized grocery stores, and they have free education. And so we're not only wondering why our tax dollars are going toward these weapons of mass destruction and slaughter, but also why we are funding quite literally all of the things we want here, you know, but in Israel. Yeah.
It's so maddening because
I know. I could see a doctor. I would love to see a doctor right now and not have to worry about a big bill.
When people talk about universal health care or any of these things, everyone says, that's so expensive. We could never afford it. But clearly we already are affording it for a whole nother country.
Right. Oh my God. See, even putting it in that term. Yeah. I think for me, I'm just mortified by the like consistent stories we hear, and we all know, right? We all have a story where I was you know, there when my partner turned down an ambulance after he was in a motorcycle accident because he was worried that bill would, you know, be delivered, that $3,000 bill would be delivered before he even healed, you know. And then I think aside from accidents, we look at systemic you know, medical issues, like chronic stress. Like someone I supported, you know, in fighting against their unlawful eviction had a stroke and couldn't speak. And so I had to stand with their children, you know, who were their voices. And it's just so sad to see how all of those things really do add up, and they couldn't afford to go see a doctor. And so when we hear all these stories, we know something's wrong. And so regardless of where you stand on, you know, all of these issues as single issues, I think if we look at it all as one issue, which is that our tax dollars are not being equitably invested in communities and neighborhoods across our cities and our country, I think we can all agree that to make that right, we need to first take care of people here, you know. And we're the only place in the world that, you know, is as developed as this country that doesn't provide healthcare to every single person, and we can afford to.
I can't believe the incumbent takes money from AIPAC. And like anytime a Congress member is like taking corporate money, you can't trust them to help you because they're gonna help that company or whoever paid them. But
we need to unpack that too.
I can't be too pissed. Well, no, it's good to be pissed, but we should be looking at people like you and some of your peers who are taking small donations and who actually, when we vote you in, we can hold you accountable.
For sure.
If you do a bad job, we can.
Yeah.
You won't be like, sorry.
See what I mean? No, this is the craziest part for me, which is it's not just AIPAC being his number one donor, which is, when you look at how much money that is, Jimmy Gomez only accepted 1% to 2% last year from small individual donors, people like you and me. That's only about $30,000. And his number one donor being AIPAC poured in $3 million. And this was the only general election that they targeted in the entire country here in the heart of Los Angeles. And his second and third top donors are also the crypto lobby that destabilizes communities like ours, and then also corporate real estate developers. So in that world where, you know, you're going to rely on these mega donors to buy your seat in Congress, maybe in the past that was like acceptable, but now a large amount of voters in America are really questioning corporate money's influence in our politics. And so while Democrats and, you know, current representatives and challengers across the country are rejecting AIPAC money, he's currently fully accepting it.
Right.
The day we launched our campaign, they immediately poured in $80,000.
That's insane.
And that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
And that's who he answers to. And so I'm running because I really think we're hungry for change. I never thought I would run for Congress or be like this politically involved. I wanted to kind of travel more and study anthropology in a PhD program, but now is time. Now is time, right?
Yeah. And that's like exactly who needs to be running. People who
Everyone keeps saying that.
Yeah, because so many people who are in office are people who are career politicians who also like they just have rich weirdo parents who like they went into politics so that their rich weirdo parents could go to their weddings and parties and say,
weird.
yes, my child is a senator, blah, blah. And it's like, they don't care. None of them care.
I know. That's the thing. They just don't care. And I think unlike the incumbent, you know, I didn't move to this district to become a politician, period, but certainly not one nearly fully funded by corporate super PACs. A corporate-backed Democrat like Jimmy Gomez really gets away with doing the bare minimum because he wants to climb that political ladder. You know, he showed us the day he won his bid for Congress, he opened up a fund for higher office. That's not someone who's going to immerse themselves in the district. Like, you know, I'm 4 generations in Highland Park right now. My grandma still lives there. Our youngest cousin still lives there. And so I understand why people move to the district. I also understand why so many of us are fighting to stay here. You know, it's a great place to live, but we can't continue to buy the scraps that the political establishment are selling us.
And it's getting more and more expensive. People are having to move out. It's, you know,